we've been really careful here at the Cooper Center not to just teach kids the science behind how our planet works, and not just to give them this positive emotional connection with the natural world. Those two elements are really important. But at the same time, we want them to take it and do something with it. We want there to be a change that happens because they came to Camp Cooper and they had this experience. And so, why do you think it's important for us to engage young people, whether we're talking about little kids or teenagers or university students, around these big environmental issues?
That is one of my favorite questions. Truly one of my favorite questions. And my answer is that expression, to know her is to love her. And to me, if you can find ways, kids, and to remember for yourself why you fell in love with nature, you will protect her because you protect the things you love. And I mean, that is it may be a kind of an esoteric answer, but it is the real answer. And I can tell you from our family, we were taking walks when my daughter was here with the baby around the neighborhood, all together, and every day we were talking about how the desert speaks. The cactus are blooming, there's yellow flowers out everywhere, there's purple flowers. We walk in the wash, we see, bunny rabbits or quail or whatever. And that awareness, which in our so-called busy lives can be so lost. What you do is like epic, because it is that connection that's lost. I mean, screen time is how kids connect. It's not going outside. And, our dear friend, our mutual friend, Kelly King. Kelly's done that. She's nailed it. So Nolan, pre-COVID-19, was having kids come over and be outside. It's things like fresh air and sunshine and the full moon. So I think of anything we talked about, it starts with having that connection and awareness, and then taking it a little deeper to that understanding that that's what's at risk with climate reality. That is what is at risk. And look at some of the people in Northern California that their entire town was burned to the ground. Look at the people that are experiencing severe flooding. I mean, it has gone on before 19, it's going on during COVID-19, and it's going to happen after. And then to me, then the next level is, what is my role as a citizen of the planet to make sure I'm doing something about it? And everybody, from the wee ones to the ones in my category, which I really resent when you get to check. I go, oh, now it's time to check the last box. 65 and over. They don't even break it up for you. Everyone can do something in their lives every day to be aware that nature is not something to be taken for granted. The climate, the reality is, we need to respect Mother Earth, and boy, have we not.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's just dead on. And it's a challenge to move beyond culture and politics and nationality to get to the real heart of the big issues. But it starts with that personal connection with the issues, and it's only going to happen if there's a emotional connection to what can be saved.
Yes.
What's that piece? For some people, it's being outdoors. For some people, it's health. For some people, it's economics. But it's all there. It's all tied together, just like our planet. And it's so important to have there be something that can be done. And no matter the age of kids that we work with, from preschoolers, through upper elementary, through high school, all the way to university students, and even the adult chaperones who come on these trips, you can see it in them. They spend that time outside and it changes them. They're not the same when they leave as they were when they arrived, even if it's just a day. You can see how they change. And it's so powerful to be able to send them back into the world looking at things a little bit differently.
Right, right. And so I think a lot, those connections, I can't believe how many guests I've interviewed that I used to ask this all the time. Well, what started you on your journey? Colin, 99% of them said, well, when I was young, my parents took us to visit the national parks. Or when I was young, we went camping. Or when I was young, my father took me fishing. If they're doing the good work in terms of climate preservation, preservation of the planet, it was some connection to nature that raised their awareness about how important it is that we have it. And I was thinking today, getting ready for this interview, what if it was a mandate to stay inside? That freedom has not been taken away from us. In China, they had to stay inside. That was it. And sometimes they were dragged out of their homes if they were, suspect of having the virus. So that freedom that we have in this beautiful place where we live, especially, to know that what if that was gone? Mm-hmm. Air was so dirty and dangerous that we had to stay in behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And, I could go down the rabbit hole for that one, because you can stay indoors with the windows closed if you are privileged enough to have air conditioning. Some people don't have that choice. So it's like, be grateful for all that we have, especially here now when we're not complaining about it being 115. We're saying, this is why I live here.
Yeah, and that's such a big motivator for me at Camp Cooper too, is, I grew up in a situation where I could get out. I grew up in a small town, and so I could get out and I could play outside all year round. I was privileged to have that access, and for so many in our communities, they need someone to provide that access for them. They need someone.
So true.
And it takes here in Tucson, a big part of it is having a passionate classroom teacher and a supportive school and a supportive school district that allow teachers to bring their students out. When students are in that class, they're a captive audience. It doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter whether they think they're interested or whether their family is interested in outdoors. They do it because it's part of their school experience. And then they can have that aha, wow moment that turns on the switch, and then it becomes something that they may be able to seek out for themselves. But that access is something that is so important to be provided. And it made me really sad to have to cancel basically 2 months of those experiences here due to COVID-19, knowing that those kids may not have another opportunity. I mean, we know it's the right thing to do. We know that it's necessary. But I hope that it's not that one and only opportunity that student would have had.
I know there's a lot of, I listened to a Brene Brown podcast on grieving, and it was really good because for kids especially, I think we need to be hyper aware of honoring their grieving. They're grieving the loss of graduation ceremonies. They're grieving the loss of seeing their friends, closure, really grieving of experiences that we have, hopefully, the wisdom and the emotional intelligence to deal with it. But kids, it's a lot. To put an end to your school experience I can't imagine. I really can't.
No, I think that's a great point. And identifying signs of grieving in children and teens is very challenging. It's not. I feel like most adults wear their emotions on their sleeve, but even at home, we've had those conversations with my two boys, 9 and 13, about how we manage those big emotions. And it's okay to have those big emotions and to let that out and to feel that.
Yeah, it is. And I think we really have to honor that.